Hello, beautiful moonbeams. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Donna XO at Mystic Moon School, and today we are here to discuss the Aquarius New Moon and the Lunar New Year, the beginning of a new era. And I've talked about this for a while on this channel, and I feel very strongly that this Aquarius New Moon, which I have been anticipating for quite some time, is a real action step, if you will, in terms of mobilizing and the real beginnings that are tangible and that we can start to see and feel of this new era, of this new age of Aquarius. So welcome again to the podcast. We're going to get into it. As always, I like to go through some offerings that I have for you all. I have been doing a lot of solar return readings recently. And so I want to extend the offer. I'm still having my January sale. I'm thinking of extending it through February, which, by the way, leads me to my overall mission and goal for this channel. And then I'll come back to the solar return chart reading and what the offers are. But ultimately, I want to thank you, first of all, for being here and for listening. And my ultimate goal for this channel is to monetize this channel. In other words, YouTube will be paying me once I reach a certain amount of subscribers. And the reason for that is so that I can then offer donation-based readings to people. So you see, this is so Aquarian. I need to live, right? I need to make money and support myself and my daughters. But I feel very strongly that what I offer is my way of working for the divine. It is my way of living my purpose. And it is my way of being of service. And so I don't ever want to price people out of working with me, because when I work with people, it is my intention to plant the seeds for deeper self-awareness, to validate and acknowledge you, to empower you on your path. And so nobody should be priced out of that kind of work. So ultimately, it is my goal, and I am sharing this with you, and I am putting it out to the universe, that I reach 1,000 followers, and that then from that point I can become monetized on this platform. And then the more subscribers you get, the more comments. That's why I'm always asking for you guys to leave a little comment, an emoji, anything, because it helps the algorithms. It helps YouTube share my videos with more and more and more people. And so we can grow the channel, not just so that I can become monetized and then offer donation-based readings. So what does that mean? That means that if you can only afford $25 for a reading, well, then guess what? You're going to get a reading with me for $25 because I'm getting paid through YouTube. You see? So that's very Aquarian in that it's me being able to reach more people at a much, much lower price so that we can all grow together. We can all step into our more authentic selves. And it is my job to support you. It is my purpose. It is me being of service in that way. And nothing lights me up more than when I work with someone and I see them shift shift from feeling like they are powerless in their circumstances, in their situation, and when they shift into feeling hope, when they feel empowered, and when they feel like a light bulb just went off over their head and now they can see something differently and they can now move forward in that direction. So that's my ultimate goal for myself in this channel, but there's something else too. I really, really deeply want to build community here. I want this to be a safe place where when people comment and they share what's going on in their lives based on the astrology that I am channeling and that I am sharing, that we are supportive of one another, that nobody feels like they're going through things alone. And that is also Aquarian, is community. Community based on like energy. And so that is my other priority and goal for this channel. So if you're here, thank you for being here. And I invite you to really step up. Share this channel if it resonates with you. You know, comment, leave a comment, because this is how you can also give energy back to me based on what I'm giving out to the collective. Okay, so that being said, my solar return readings are super powerful. So yes, a natal chart reading is incredible, and it's a beautiful foundational way to really step into learning more about your personal astrology. And then the solar return readings are just, honestly, they are mind blowing. The solar return is your birthday. It is your birthday every single year. You can get a solar return chart reading. And so this is a whole new layer of energies for you from one birthday to the next. And so obviously this is going to change from your natal chart. The only thing that's the same is that the sun, right, returns to the exact same degree point in the sky as when you were born. But everything else, all the other planets and points are shifted. Now, I have seen some solar return chart readings where you're having a return of some sort with another planet or point, and that is just absolutely fascinating when I get to do those readings. But by and large, they are whole new energies, and so it's going to let you know, well, what are your most close and intimate relationships? What is the energy for that this year, right? What about your career and your finances? What about your health? What about your friendships? What about your own self-growth? These are all of the energies and more that we look at, you know, your children, your creativity, your home, your your deep subconscious and the shifts that you're making on a deeper level. So these are all of the things that we look at when we're looking at your solar return chart reading, and they are just, I mean, I have people comment to me after the reading and they're like, oh my God, they'll send me text messages because once you're a client, then we can correspond with one another. And they follow up and they're like, oh my gosh, Donna, I can't believe like it's playing out just like you said. And it's really incredible. It's so incredible. So yes, so the sale in January is still going on for a week. If you sign up and you want to book something in February, I will honor that sale. I'm thinking of extending it, the sale through February as well. Like I said, it's really my goal to work with as many people who feel called to work with me and not have anyone priced out. So check it out over at my website, mysticmoonschool.com. You can learn more about me personally, and you can go over to the classes page, learn about all my offerings, and then it'll take you over to booking. And if nothing works for you on the booking page, just send me an email. We'll figure it out together. Okay? Also, don't forget, I have created a free guide for you to living by the moon phases. And I've had quite a few people download this, print it out, and also send me messages that they really, it's really helping them to live a more cyclical life. So that's free for you, as is my 2025 calendar. So in this calendar, I have all of the adorable, yes, AI generated cats and dogs that I felt represented the different signs. And of course, I put some input into the AI generation, generated images, but they're super adorable. And what I've included each and every month for you are the different phases of the moon and what days they fall on. So if you're really interested in living with the moon cycle, this calendar is going to give you exact dates for that. And then you can use my guide that I've created for you, and so you can really set the intentions. You know, it's really a beautiful self growth journey. Okay, so we are going to get into this reading, this Aquarius New Moon, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Lunar New Year, and this is the Lunar New Year of the wood snake. And so I want to start with that because I'm only going to briefly touch upon it, and then we're gonna get much more deeply into the this Aquarius New Moon that is happening today as you are listening. So let's talk about the Lunar New Year. So in my research, the Lunar New Year is actually called the lunisolar New Year. And the reason for that is that it's the first new moon after either the winter solstice or the equinox, depending on where you are in the world. Okay, but for us, it is the first new moon after the winter solstice. And, you know, billions of people celebrate the Lunar New Year as a really big celebration. You know, here in America, for a long time, we used to call it the Chinese New Year. And, you know, that's really limiting it because it's not just China who celebrates the Lunar New Year. It is a vast array of the Asian countries, you know, that celebrate in Korea, in Thailand, in India, and so, and on and on. In fact, in the Middle East, the Jewish calendar coincides with the lunar year, as does the Muslim calendars as well. And so this is really a large majority of the world that celebrates the Lunar New Year. So now, what is the Lunar New Year for 2025? It is the wood snake. And so when we are talking about the wood snake, because the animals coincide with the elements for when we're talking about the Lunar New Year. And I love that because, you know, the elements are quite significant in astrology. They have a beautiful layer of meaning that I find to be very insightful. And so when we're talking about wood, we are talking about a very grounded earth energy, right? We're talking about trees that are deeply rooted in the earth. And there is also, I believe that the wood is also affiliated with fire, the element of fire, because wood burns, right? And so when we're talking about wood and fire and earth, this is a very grounded energy, but it can also be a very inspirational and passionate energy because we're bringing in that fire element. There's also, there's also the energy of regeneration from the fire. as there is for the snake. So let's just talk about the fire part of this for a moment. Now, here in the US, there have been the very devastating fires out in the West, California. And while it is devastating and destructive energy, we must remember that, just like I always talk about on this channel, for every ending, there is a beginning simultaneously, right? They are not mutually exclusive, even though we often think in terms of that polarity of an ending and a beginning. But really, they are two sides of the same coin. And so destruction and creation are as well. And so when we think about fire and we think about devastating wildfires, yes, we must acknowledge the destruction that happens from these fires. I mean, from any fire, right? When you light a match, that match is being destroyed, isn't it? It's being burnt down to ash. But the creation of fire is also simultaneously taking place. And then if you take that match and you light a candle, again, light is being created, heat is being created, the fire itself is created, and yet now that candle is in a cycle, in a process of destruction. As the wax melts, over time, the candle diminishes in its form. And so, for every destructive action, there is a simultaneous creation taking place. And this is a very important energy that we keep reminding ourselves of this, because this is the energy of this Lunar New Year. This is the energy of this year of the wood snake. And so I want to just stick with that for a moment. So I titled this podcast The Beginning of an Era, but I can't ignore the fact that so much is being destroyed at the same time. Now, without being political, because I am no longer a political person, okay? And what I mean by that, I mean, I was very actively a political person for a good portion of my life. And I still have my own personal opinions and, leanings in that arena. However, ultimately, I am in the energy of oneness, of inclusivity, and compassion and love. And so I will never, I don't gravitate anymore towards the polarity of politics in my country. And again, it is a polarity, right? Two sides. But because ultimately I want everyone to feel safe. I want everyone to feel kind and compassionate towards one another. And I want us to work together as people, as a collective and communities. That is my ultimate wish for our country and humanity as a whole. And so in that way, I do feel that I cannot really descend for myself into the polarity of politics. However, I do feel that it's important to not detach too much from the actual, the ways in which people are feeling called to step up, to speak their truth, to advocate. These are all very, very important actions and shifts that need to take place so that we can all come together as a homogenous, inclusive, compassionate community. And so the beginning of this new era, which is Aquarian, which I'm going to explain even more deeply when we look at the chart for this new moon, this cannot happen without destruction as well. And I feel that this year, 2025, is a real, we're going to see in much more tangible ways, not just in this country, but all around the world, the shedding of the old skin of the snake, the wood snake. Okay? So we cannot focus on what is being torn down to the point where it depletes our energy, where we drop down into fear, and we feel that we have no autonomy, and that we are powerless against the changes and the actions that are taking place. Instead, we want to ignite. That's the fire, right? That when we ignite that wood energy, when we ignite the match, the flame within ourselves, we can then be inspired to take action. And I don't know about you, but this week, especially leading up to this new moon, even today, yesterday and today, I have gotten messages from people in my community, my friends, my neighbors, collaborators, people that I work with. They are all being called to action in their own beautiful, unique ways. And so whatever you are feeling is rising up within you, in your own life, in your own communities. This is your call to action. This is the wood snake. This is the energy of regeneration that is taking place. I feel oh my gosh, you guys, and I have to tell you that my own card, so I do weekly card pulls for myself. I do an oracle card for myself for every week, and I use it's a beautiful deck. It's called the Angels and Ancestors deck, and it's by Kyle Gray. I've been using this deck for several years now, every week. And of course, what was the card that I pulled for this week? It was the snake. It was the snake. It shedding the old skin, I believe is the line. Okay, so you can't make this stuff up, right? I love it so much. I love the synchronicities. It's incredible. It's so magical, and it really inspires me. So I just had to share that with you because we are shedding the old skin of complacency. We are shedding the old skin of feeling a victim. We are shedding the old skin of it's like the old, dry, worn out skin that we have felt confined in, where we could not step into our power. That apathy, the apathy that we felt, or if it wasn't apathy, if it wasn't a reluctance, if it wasn't like a hopelessness, then it was feeling victim, like, well, what can I do? That is all falling away now. That is the skins that are being shed for all of us. And so whatever you're feeling called to action, step into it now. You are going to be supported by the universe, and you are going to find your people who are like-minded and like energy and like-hearted. And this is the beginning. This is how we make change, by just following. I had a session this week and I spoke about the divine breadcrumbs. That's all you need to see. Your own unique divine breadcrumbs being sprinkled for you. Little breadcrumbs at a time. That will lead you further and further on your own destined path. So just follow those divine breadcrumbs that you are seeing now. Okay, let's talk about this Aquarius new moon. Now, I want to first touch on the degree point of this new moon. So the sun and the moon together in the sign of Aquarius at 9 degrees. Now, we have had several lunations now. This is, I think, at least the third lunation in the past couple of months that has come in at 9 degrees. So what is the 9th degree? It's the Sagittarius degree. And what is Sagittarius all about? What is the 9th house about? It is about expansion. It is about justice. It is about learning. It is about expanding our minds, the higher mind, right? Connecting to the divine mind. And that, truly that is the energy of Aquarius as well. So now let's break down Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer. And I remember years ago when I first was learning about the signs, I was like, wait a minute, but Aquarius is an air sign. So why is it the water bearer? Isn't it a water sign? And the answer is no, it is not a water sign. It is an air sign, because the water represents the divine knowledge. The water coming out from that urn is pouring forth from the sky, from the divine, into our human mind. That is the air, okay? The mind, the mental energy. And so I see Aquarius energy as because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, right? So Saturn is the boundary between the earthly mind, the earthly realms, and the divine realms, the spirit realms. And so it crosses through that barrier, it crosses through that boundary, and is able to download into our human mind. And oftentimes it will manifest as that epiphany that we have, right? The light bulb moment. And we make those beautiful connections. We are able to channel energy, ideas, inspiration, speaking our truth. All of these wonderful things happen through the Aquarian energy. And so I'm just going to take a sip here of my tea. So that Aquarius energy is about breaking through those barriers. When you look at the Saturn, the boundaries and the barriers, and then you look at Aquarius ruled by Uranus. Well, what's Uranus all about? Uranus is all about liberation, breaking through a barrier, stepping outside the box, right? Innovation, that electricity, that spark that comes right out of the sky, lights up your whole sky, right? Lights up your whole field of perspective. where now you're seeing something from a much higher perspective. And so this lunation, of course, a new moon, what's a new moon all about? New beginnings. In this case, this Aquarius new moon is not just a new cycle for the month, for the lunations of this month, but it is the new lunar year, right? It is the ignition. It is the it is the inspiration that we can tap into this wood snake energy for the whole year until next Lunar New Year. And so remember, astrology is a cycle within a cycle within a cycle, and infinite cycles, really, truly. It doesn't stop. And so we are also moving into a new precessional cycle that is around 26,000 years. I mean, mind-blowing stuff, right? And so we are ending the 26,000 year cycle that humanity has found itself in, a time of darkness, a time of disconnection, a time of being asleep to our true nature, our connection with the divine that is always within us, that we are the divine spark living a human life. And so we are waking up to this. This correlates with the wood snake and shedding that old skin, right? It's too small for us. What happens when the snake sheds its skin is because it's growing, right? It's too big now for that limiting shell, that limiting skin that it's been living in. And it's growing into a beautiful new sense of self. It's gorgeous, right? I love the snake imagery. You know, it's funny because a lot of people are afraid of snakes. And, you know, trust what it means for you. I'm never trying to, you know, kind of persuade anyone of my beliefs and what resonates for me, but I've always loved snakes my whole life. I thought they were beautiful and that they were inspiring to me, and that they were actually quite vulnerable in their own ways. And when I came to learn, you know, that what they represent energetically, it really made me love them even more. And so for me, I was just so excited when I learned that this year, this new lunar year, was of the wood snake, because I knew, and I'm a Scorpio rising, so look, I'm shedding my skin all the time, okay? Transformation is like my middle name, and so I'm very comfortable now at this point in my life when I see endings happening, because what I know is that it's not merely an ending. It is a beautiful new beginning that we are stepping into. So I want to talk now a little bit more about what is happening in this Aquarius energy, because it's not just the new moon, okay, the new beginning of this cycle for the month ahead, but it is for the whole year, right? So the Aquarian energies, there's a lot happening at this lunation. It's not just the new moon, it's also Pluto and Mercury are conjunct here. And so when we're talking about this Aquarian energy, we are really truly awakening to the truth, Pluto and Mercury, okay, of our true nature. And Aquarius energy is both your individual, authentic self and also your communities and the collective at large. It's both. They are not contradictory to one another. In fact, they are, again, two sides of the same coin. And so the more each one of us ignites that flame within, lighting up your true authentic self, being able to shine a light on that path for you as an individual forward, following those divine breadcrumbs of who you came here to be. What lights you up? What is your passion? What inspires you? Take action on that now. As you do so, you're going to then connect with others in this same energy. We are each of us going to broaden our communities that are following these same divinely inspired breadcrumbs. And we are now, all of our matches within us that are lit up, we're all coming together. What happens? We create a bonfire. We create a big inspirational energy that is going to catch. I'm being shown right now in my mind's eye the Hunger Games, right? And so that beautiful catching fire metaphor, that is the age of Aquarius. That is this year of the wood snake. That as the fire within catches within you, then you connect with others who also have that fire within. And we are growing that inspirational energy. We are growing whatever it is that we're being called to do, to take action. You know, it's not a coincidence that this Friday night I'm going to a networking event, because it's not just like old school networking, right? Yes, that's a beautiful energy, and I don't mean to diminish that in any way, but it's a new energy. We are meeting with others who are called into service, who are called into their purpose, and we are going to form collaborations. We are going to support one another, advocate for one another, and because this is coming from a really deeply inspired energy. So step into these Aquarian energies now, because that is what this new moon and this whole new year is all about. You know, Mercury and Pluto are conjunct at this new moon. And this energy has been building for the past couple days, and it will continue. Mercury moves quickly, but it's ignited something within us this week. We're planting the seeds of new collaborations. We're planting the seeds of finding our communities, of supporting others who are taking leadership roles, and those of us who are also in the roles of the helpers. That has come into my awareness also within the past week or so. Remember Mr. Rogers? Remember how he said, look out for the helpers? Now, I've channeled this energy before on my podcast. Well, it's here again. It's here in my awareness, and I'm being called to call us all to remember that energy. Look for the helpers and be the helpers. If there's someone who's in a leadership position that you feel called to support and to help, then that's where you feel called. You know, whatever it is for you, just trust that and step into that energy now. You know, Pluto is an energy that shifts the collective truth, that works with the collective energy. But in true Aquarian fashion, you cannot affect the collective, you cannot affect communities and large groups without also simultaneously affecting the individual. So I really feel that I'm really talking about one and the same energy here. I'm talking to you as an individual, saying whatever's lighting you up now, follow those divine breadcrumbs, because it's going to lead you to larger communities and groups, and we are going to affect change in the most beautiful, positive ways, and we're going to see us shedding the old skin and stepping into our new, beautiful, aligned paths. We are creating the new communities. We are really aligning with this new energy that is really, truly, divinely on time. Okay, we're on time. It's happening. You know, the South Node is trining these energies now, and what that is indicating is that that is the shedding. You know, if you look to the Vedic system, if you follow that at all, and you look to the North Node and the South Node in that Eastern system of astrology, Rahu and I'm drawing a blank on the Rahu is, I believe, the North Node, and Ketu is, that's what it is. Ketu is the South Node, and so this is represented as a snake, the head and the tail of the snake, and so the South Node is all about what the snake is leaving behind, the old skin. And the South Node is trining all of these Aquarian energies right now at this new moon. So it is supporting us in letting go of the old energies that have kept us stuck. You know, have kept us stuck in the victimhood energy, in the powerlessness, in the old ways of thinking that just, you know, we couldn't affect change, not within our own lives and not within the collective energies. And so this South Node energy is here supporting us at this new moon in Aquarius, supporting the Mercury and the Pluto energies of change. Okay, Mercury is all about change. Mercury is the energy of adaptability and change. Don't forget, Mercury is also the trickster. So don't be fooled, okay, at this new moon about what is being talked about, what is being, what changes are happening, you know, on a larger scale. Don't be fooled. Don't let that fool you in terms of like this is the be all and the end all. Okay? It's not. At the end of the day, if you take away nothing else from this podcast today, just remember, at the end of the day, in the highest expressions, Aquarian energy is the power of the people. Pluto in Aquarius is the power of the people. Don't forget also that the moon represents the people. I don't talk about that aspect of her a lot on this channel, but it is absolutely, the moon is absolutely representative of the people. So this new moon energy, the sun is powering up the moon, the people in Aquarius, Pluto, Mercury, the messenger of the gods. This is all powering us up to take the action that we are called to now, that we are inspired to. So whatever you are feeling within yourself, this podcast is here today to encourage you, to support you, to inspire you, to take those actions now. In whatever ways you personally are feeling called, you are supported. You are empowered. This is part of your destined path. We're letting go now, South Node. We are letting go of what was keeping us stuck so that we can step in to our power. I'm very excited, to be honest with you, for this year ahead. It is going to be transformative. The snake guarantees that. The wood snake guarantees the fire of inspiration is going to transform us. I look forward to this year ahead with you all, of growing this channel, of growing this community, of learning more about you and your journeys, of us all being here in this virtual space to support one another. I want to hear about what divine breadcrumbs you're being called to follow now. I want to hear about how you are affecting change within your own life and within your own communities. I want to hear about how this is happening for all of you in real time in your lives, because it's going to inspire all of us when we see it happening all over the planet. We're going to just grow that bonfire. Don't you see how it works? It's so beautiful. So please leave me a comment. Let me know what you're being called to affect change in your own life, or what you're being inspired to follow, whether that is a creative project, whether it's your own art or your gifts, or joining a community that you feel really inspired to support and be a part of, whether it is some leadership position, whether it's in your own family. Please know that whatever change and transformation you're feeling called to now, this is part of these energies. There is nothing that is off the table that is going to support this new age, this new era. So please share it here in our community. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I am going to be offering more podcasts like this on a regular basis. I am coming up on 1 year of being on YouTube, and it's been a tremendous learning process for me of how this all works, of what I feel inspired to share, the different ways that I've offered podcasts, and I'm sure it'll grow and change. But I feel very called to share in this way. It's an intuitive and channeled format for me that I feel very inspired in this way. And I really hope it resonates for you. I hope that you feel safe here to share any comments so that we can grow our community, so that we can see that when someone shares here what they're being called to change, what they're going through, and what they may feel that they need to support or how they want to support others, that we are not alone, that we are all part of this beautiful, transformative community, and that we are changing the world for the better, one match at a time, one light and one person at a time. We are all coming together, and we are creating beautiful communities and more beautiful lives for us all to experience together. So thank you again for listening. I'm wishing you a beautiful new moon in Aquarius. I hope that you will like and share and subscribe to my channel. I really hope that you will leave a comment and that we will be able to read the comments and respond to one another. And so that we feel part of a community that is growing in the most high energies of love and light, compassion and truth. I will see you soon under the moon. Bye-bye for now.